Hi everyone, this is Guy, and I wanted to take you through some commonly used techniques in Word, and actually these will apply to many other applications, and they will help you do all kinds of adjustments and manipulations of text. So the first thing to notice is the insertion point cursor, and that's this blinking I-beam, which tells you where text is going to appear if you start typing. So if you start typing, that's where it's going to happen. The other thing that's important in working with text is that when you apply the adjustments, the commands here in the font group, those apply to the selected text, but not to any other text. So if I wanted to change something here, I need to select it first, and then I can apply it. But if it's not selected, when I apply something, it's good for text that I enter after I changed it, but it's not going to affect the text that's already there. So that's a key thing. Now, the other piece of this is that the paragraph group, those commands, here we have a line left, a line center, we have the bulleted list, the numbered list, indent, and these all apply to the paragraph where the cursor is inserted. So if I were to do one of those, like center, that applies to this paragraph, not the other ones, because that's where the cursor was. If I put that down in this paragraph, then I can click on it, and it applies to the whole paragraph. So that's a key thing, that the paragraph commands are going to do something to the paragraph that the cursor is in, if you haven't selected more. If I select multiple paragraphs, then whatever I do will apply to everything I selected. So those are some key things about selection. Now there's ways to select besides there's click and drag, which I've done. Left click and hold it down and drag. You can also double click, which will select a word, or triple click, which will select a paragraph. There we go. If you move the cursor over to the left in the margin, it turns to a kind of a right pointing arrow, and that will select a line. And so you can use that to select a line. You can click and drag to select multiple lines. Double click will select the whole paragraph that you're pointing at. So those are some ways to select text to operate on it. Another couple ways, one is the shift click. So if I click at the beginning of a text, and then I hold the shift key down and click at the end of the text I want to select, that selects everything between those two mouse clicks. And then there's a variation on that, which is using the control. So if I select some text, and then I hold the control key down, I select some more text, and then I select some more text, the text is selected even though it's not adjacent. And if I apply something, it will apply to all the selected text, even though it's not touching or adjacent. So the control select is another useful way of making a change apply to lots of different places. I showed you the ruler here. That's on the View menu, where you can turn the ruler on and off. Again, I almost always work with that showing. And it shows the left margin stop, the left indent, the right margin, and it shows the hanging and first line markers up here. So those are going to apply to whichever paragraph the cursor is in, or whichever paragraphs have been selected. So if I'm just in the first paragraph here, I can drag this left indent over. But to undo that and go down here to the next paragraph, if I want to indent the first line, I drag the top pointer here. And as you see, that only applies to the paragraph I was in. If I wanted that to be true on every paragraph in the document, I would need to select the whole document first. And you can do that using the Select select all. That's one way. There's keyboard shortcuts you could use as well. And then there's a hanging indent, which you do with, I held the shift key down and dragged the indent in the lower. So a hanging indent has the first line at the left margin, and then every other line after that is indented. And that's used in the reference list usually. So those are ways to format the text on the using the margin stops. And then over here is the tabs, the left tab. So if I wanted to add a tab, I would just click in the ruler bar, and that adds a tab. Now if I put a tab in here, insert a tab, it's going to jump to wherever I put that tab stop. However, that only applies to the paragraph where that was set. You see, when I click in this paragraph, there's no tab stop there. So if you want a tab stop to be on the whole document, again, you need to select all before you do that. Some other really quick things, if you copy something and then right-click on it, you have an option to copy it. And if you've copied something, you have an option when you right-click to paste it. And you can paste it keeping the source formatting where it came from, or using the source merge, or just the text only. So that's different ways you can paste using the right-click. There are keyboard shortcuts for copying and pasting as well. And actually, I have the keyboard shortcuts here, so let me show those to you. This is a slide showing the Control X will cut the selected text, which means it removes it to the clipboard, and Control C will copy the selected text. Control V pastes whatever is on the clipboard. So it could be a picture, it could be text, and it only the clipboard in Windows only has one thing at a time on it. So when you copy something, it replaces whatever was on the clipboard before. Inside the Office applications, there's actually an Office clipboard that holds more, and you can show that by clicking here on the bottom of the clipboard group, and you can see the things that are in the list, and you can paste anything in that list. So it'll hold 24 items, but that only works inside the Office applications. So Control A selects all, and Control S will save. So those are probably the most commonly used of the keyboard shortcuts. So I just wanted to cover all those things for you so that you'll be much more efficient working in Word, and be able to get Word to do what you want.